Hi, I'm Karan Jani. I'm a professor of astrophysics here at Vanderbilt, and I'm the founding director of Vanderbilt Lunar Labs Initiative. My research is to test Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity and black holes using gravitational wave experiments on Earth, Moon, and space. Gravitational waves are the most fundamental way the universe communicates with us, and we are the first generation of walking civilization that have actually been able to perceive gravitational waves being communicated by the universe with us. So it's a really fascinating time right now to study this. And detecting gravitational waves was a multi-generational effort, and it took dedicated funding from the National Science Foundation for decades to make sure we create these experiments. These are large-scale experiments that are 16 square kilometer in setup, and those kind of experiments that got funded eventually allowed us to measure gravitational waves. This is not something that we can just build in a small lab and be able to detect gravitational waves coming from it. It does require a very dedicated federal funding strategy. This was one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs of the 21st century. You can almost put detection of gravitational waves in the same category as landing on the moon. This kind of feat happens only when science is a national priority to be advocated. For centuries, the only way we learned about the universe was by observing light. Galileo made the first telescope. Humans have been looking at night sky for centuries. But it's only in 2015, after decades of effort, that we were finally able to hear the sounds that universe makes on the fabric of space-time. This sounds interacts with us almost every few minutes, coming from different parts of the cosmos. They go through our body and impact everything around us. This is the most fundamental way that we would learn about what is the structure of the universe at its largest stage, what happened to the universe right after its birth, what happens to the black holes that are being created every time when a star dies, or the centers of galaxies. Most questions in physics are long-term, that require several generations of students and early career scientists to be trained over the time. For example, my students would be going to the experiments that have been funded by the National Science Foundation since 90s, and they get trained 30 years later on those facilities. That kind of continuation is fundamental to solve the ground problems that we are facing in the field of physics. Not having that kind of a certainty affects how we train the next generation of students, but also impacts our ability to answer questions that are civilization changing. That is the kind of direct impact it has if we don't have a support from the federal government.